Hey guys, good morning. It's another beautiful Saturday. Glad to see you all. Actually, I'm looking at my iPad and you're checking out whatever device you're using to watch this quick Devo. Oh man, this week I thought a lot about Acts 27 and 28, and I thought a lot about the life of Paul. It seemed like every time Paul would try to take off on some type of a missionary journey, there would be like some point of a detour. And I think one of the most famous ones is Acts 27, where Paul, they're on the trip and Paul says, hey, let's just stay here for the winter. And the merchants and the ship's masters turned to the centurion and said, hey, guess what? We think we need to go now. It's more profitable for us to go now. And, they had more influence. And so the next thing you know, they take off. And the ship starts to go. Hey, I'm going to read it to you. Acts 27, starting with verse 13, it says this, it says, then a light wind began to blow from the south. The sailors thought they could make it. So they pulled up the anchor and sailed close to the shore of Crete. But the weather changed abruptly. And the wind of a typhoon strength, called a northeasterner, burst across the island and blew us out to sea. The sailors couldn't turn the ship into the wind, so they gave up and let it run before the gale. We sailed along the sheltered side of a small island named Claudia. There was a great difficulty. We hoisted aboard a lifeboat that was being towed behind us. When the sailors took ropes and bound around the hull of the ship to strengthen it, they were afraid of being driven to the sandbar. So they lowered the sea anchor of the ship into the driving wind, hoping that would slow them down. The next day, as gale force winds continued to batter the ship, the crew began to throw cargo overboard. The following day, they even took some of the ship's gear and threw it overboard. The terrible storm raged for many days, blotting out the sun and the stars, until at last all hope was gone. Man, kind of almost sounds like the day and time we live in. We have this mega storm going on. Sometimes there's storms in our life. Sometimes there's storms in our marriages. Sometimes there's storms in our finances. We just saw what's going on with Wall Street. Sometimes there's storms in our jobs. There's storms with employees. There's storms with our bosses. There's storms of sickness. There's storms in a relationship. There's storms all around us. And you know what? Sometimes those storms are a really good cause for a detour. Seems like in this storm that we were reading about, the sailors at first thought they could handle it. And I think mankind, that's our first reaction. We can handle it. Our next reaction is, hey, where is God? It sounds so funny as I've had different conversations with people that I would talk to before, and they were all quick about blaming God for this or blaming God for that. But it seems like right now everyone's, regrouped and they're on their face and they're praying, they're crying out to God. And they're asking God for mercy, which is really the right posture that we need to have at this time. I don't know what's going on in your life, and I don't know what storms have come up, but I do know this, that God works in detours. Sometimes the great storms come up because there's a detour, there's a change of direction. I don't think if you would have had a conversation with the leadership at church that we'd be talking about, doing all these videos, or that we'd be thinking that Sunday morning was going to be video only. It's pretty crazy, but what a crazy detour. And now we're sitting back saying, hey, maybe this is our finest hour. I wonder what God's going to do. So in the middle of a storm, got 3 quick comments. We all need to know that God's in control. It's really simple to say, but it's not so simple to do and to live out. But God is truly in control. And the next thing that I would like to say is that God uses everything. Sometimes there's that stuff in our life that we don't like, that's nasty, that's ugly, that's annoying, and we can sit back and be like, man, I don't know how God's going to use this detour. But when we offer it to God wholeheartedly from our heart and say, God, you can take all of me, I'm yours. God can use anything. I'm just reminded of Isaiah 55, where God talks about how his ways are higher than our ways and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And I don't know what you're going through today, what today holds, But let's start out this morning thinking God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. Let's also start out with Romans 8:28, talking about, hey, we know that things will work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. Today, you and me, we're called according to his purpose. His purpose is to love mercy, to act justly, and to walk humbly with our God. So today, let's try to love mercy. Let's try to act justly, and let's try to walk humbly with our God. Hey, thanks for giving me this couple minutes in the morning, and I'm praying for you. And all the way from the great state of Texas to Pennsylvania, we miss you. We can't wait to hang out with you. Can't wait to see everybody again. God bless you.